Martin from the Philippines, and welcome to Real Talk Lifeline, where we have real, raw, and authentic conversations. So, welcome, and this live is going to be a little special one. It's a refresher for me, and it's actually a note to self for Martin a decade ago from what he was going through. So, the topic of tonight or this midnight is how to understand women. Is that even possible? So, how to understand women? Why is this the topic? So, around 10 years ago, I was going through a really dark time, and this is related to the topic of what we're going to be talking about tonight or midnight. So, how to understand women? Why am I doing this? I just finished reading a few hours ago a full 152 pages of this book, this ebook. So the Tao of Badass. So why am I showing this? This book or ebook was shared with me many years ago, I think 2015 or 2016. And it was from a younger guy, one batch below. And I later on find out that he's actually my cousin. So if ever there was a manual on how to understand women, this is the closest I got to it. So it took me like 2 full days of like sittings, and I just finished reading it a few hours ago. So why am I making this live? I just want to share the best lessons or my realizations from reading it again. So ever since I first got it or saw it, maybe whew, 7 years or 8 years ago, and I'll combine it also with my personal experience ever since then. So these are my real life experiences, whether I went through seminars, training, or just harsh rejections or hard, like real, real experience. And then the lessons I got after processing, like a decade after. So this is what I would tell Martin 10 years ago and what I wish I knew. So let's get to it. So I'll do a little quick storytelling or rewind. So 10 years ago, this is November 2023 now, so a decade ago in 2013. So I was around 26 years old that time. And what happened was I was in a long-term relationship. So it was around going on 9 years already that time. And then what happened was I was on a downward spiral, and then pretty much at my lowest point, like I was in a dark place, it ended. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know emotional mental health. I didn't know about anxiety, depression, or anything. By no means am I saying I'm like the worst case. I know some other guys who, they ended up in jail. I know there are other people who could have ended up getting into drugs or messing up their life real bad. And maybe you may know some people also who reached like the fatal end of they take their own life, right? And this is not an exception to young people, I believe, whether it's guys. I believe it can happen to women as well. I believe it can happen to younger and older people, because for me it's right. It's getting a little, here in the Philippines they say gas, meaning like you keep seeing it happening again and again and again. So I already know, just like gravity, that this is reality. So let's focus on a solution. What can we do to handle it? This is the whole point of the live tonight, right? So this is not going to be a long manifesto or super detailed thing. I just want to keep this as short, easy to like go through and then just review it after. If you want to go deeper, comment deep dive down below. If you want to see a more detailed process of any parts that I'll be sharing tonight, I'll be happy to sit down with you or a small group so we can like go deeper and answer your questions. So moving forward, when that hit me, uh, there were people, maybe if you cannot relate to this, if you're on the other side of the fence, wherein you didn't have to go through this challenge in your life, maybe you're a natural, you already know the answers, or you just handle it well. I just want to clear and say I have nothing but love for you. So, on the other side of the fence, for people who could relate, people who felt stuck, frustrated, lost, confused, and maybe even losing hope, this is for you. So, I'm making this live again for you and myself a decade ago. So, I didn't know what to do back then after that heartbreak. And these are the lessons that I started realizing, and I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. So, let's get to it. So after reading this book, the Tao of Badass, one of the biggest lessons, I'll just keep it simple and summarize to the key points that really hit me. One thing that I'm constantly reminded from hard experience when it comes to a relationship with a girl, maybe it could be your partner, it could be your wife, your husband. I believe it actually applies to both sides, is the biggest lesson first that hit me was this lesson on neediness. So, what is this? So I'm going to put it up here. So, what is this lesson? Neediness is when a person gets so attached to someone, and it's that saying like, I can't live without her or I can't live without him conditioning. So, this one hit me real hard. So, other words that might hit you later on as you discover it's codependence. Um, it's pretty bad actually. So here in the culture in the Philippines growing up, so this is what I saw growing up, whether it was directly my family, it was religion, right? Like when you get married, that's it, right? Forever, like that. Could be media, so the movies we watch growing up. It also could just be our environment around. So what we're constantly encouraged to do or how to behave. So this thing was like the biggest issue or the biggest pain for me because I didn't know how to unwire it. And you're saying, Martin, it took you 10 years this long to realize this. You could get the lesson like 10 years ago, but rewiring, or it's like letting go of how you grew up, is one of the hardest things. So I'm kind of jumping. There are other lessons that I'll share with you. So again, I don't want to focus necessarily on just the technical, like the techniques, because that comment deep dive down below if you want to learn that, like how to approach, how to build rapport, seduction, and then maintain a relationship. I don't mind going deep into that with you. So, and this is also coming from a guy who was introverted, like a homebody. Uh, I wasn't super social. So for you out there saying, "Hey Martin, you're good looking, you're like good with the people like that." Um Opposite end, I was a nerd growing up. So if you're in that place, then you're in the right place right now listening to this. So let's go back to the very first, the deepest lesson that hit me. So neediness. So what is being needy? So one thing here which is also related is, it's a lesson I learned from a mentor. So he's actually in the center of my dream board. So what he taught was, it is up to me to handle my own emotions. And I'll share with you a real example of this. So Martin 10 years ago, this is an example, like what should I do? While I was reading the ebook, so I was in a cafe and I was having coffee reading this all by myself. So what's the opposite of neediness? Can you have coffee by yourself without the need of having a girl sitting across with you, to be there for you, to spend time with you? Can you spend time with yourself? And I'm saying this to me, to Martin 10 years ago. So if you could relate to that, then hey, let the lesson land, right? Because it took me this long to realize it. I hope it doesn't take that long for you. I don't mind. I learned to be more patient with myself. I learned to be more kind to myself. That really helped me as well. So you could try that too. So can you do that? So that's like the cure or the opposite of neediness. Another thing is, it's up to me to handle my own emotions, meaning one person cannot fulfill all of my needs. one person cannot fulfill all of my emotional needs as well. So, by the way, guys, Frame, yo, buddy, yeah, I could see you. Thank you for supporting the live. I love you guys. So, Frame, uh, I'm just showing the comments here. Thank you. Yeah. So, hey, I made an effort, man. So, like I accepted. Um, Armand, yun. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, really good point. So maybe the opposite of neediness is self-love, right? Or it's being secure with yourself. I get it. So, yeah, I love you, bro. So, love you too. So you're making the life more fun. So, I'll go back to yeah, neediness. So, the first lesson that hit me. Now, some of you might say, "Hey, yeah, I already knew that." What? Hey, thank you, genius, for that lesson. Again, this video, this lesson is for myself. Why? There are people, including me included, that fall back into this. Maybe you come out of a relationship, you meet another hot girl. Maybe you meet like the love of your life all over again, times two. So it's a reality that we fall back into again. So this lesson hammered into me, and I've seen older people fall back into it again. So they get attached. In the recent years, I've had batchmates who, from marriages, like they're going through an annulment. Um, One of them, which breaks my heart, was right after getting married, suddenly the wife wants to end it or just dissolve it. So that one really confused me. So this lesson on neediness is another way of putting this super powerful is what is the opposite of neediness, or the answer to it is always have the ability to walk away. So I believe this is applicable for the guy and the girl, for both sides. So it's not just a guy thing for people watching the live, right? It helps everyone universally, from what I realized and experienced. So, what is the ability to walk away? So, I learned this lesson, and I'll give you a bonus one if you're having a hard time getting it. Even if I love the person, I did everything I could. Maybe the other person did the same. If it's not working and the girl wants to end it, then have the ability to say, okay, if I'm not your man, go find him. Go find your man. So it's also having the ability to, if the other person is not good for you, maybe they're crazy, like they're just whacked in a real bad way. I don't know, like they're real bad influence when it comes to money, your personal life, family, like that. Then have the ability to say, hey, there's the door, go, right? I don't want this anymore. So that's the ability to walk away, right? And for us in Philippine culture, it's real hard to do that because, yeah, for us, how secure are we with ourselves and having thank you, Arman, for you guys watching the live. You're making this more fun. So, and even that, what Armand is saying, if you are on the receiving end, I never like a needy person in a relationship because it becomes toxic. Now, I actually had to experience this the hard way, meaning after that hard breakup, I experienced being on the opposite end, wherein a girl did that to me. And this might sound mean, but I just say this again. This is real, raw, and authentic. I felt disgusted when a girl was showing very needy behavior towards me. So that was a realization for me. So there's a thin line between needy and clingy, just my opinion. So for Frame, yeah, real good point. Clingy can be cute here in the Philippine culture. They like using that word. But then what when it's already bad, bad vibes, right? So just like what Frame said, it becomes toxic. So yes, again, Araman. So that's very Filipino culture, clingy, because they find that cute, like a koala bear, right? But yeah, once it becomes needy, There you go. So toxic, psycho, stuff like that. So going back, first realization was neediness. So having that ability to first be handle my own emotions, to actually be by myself, to actually generate self-generate my own positive emotions, have the ability to walk away. So having personal boundaries, again, hard lesson to learn, but it's related to that neediness. So the next thing I want to share here, because you could read the manual all you want and it's super helpful here. Again, comment deep dive down below if you want to go deeper because you have questions on like the system or the process, how to do it. The next one here that I want to share, so I'm going to add another one over here. So this one I would call, so I'm going to add this. So here we go as it pops up. What I mean by rejection here is the ability to handle it. So why am I sharing this? Being a guy and those who could relate, so usually it's in the man's role to approach. So men, I believe women too, they have approach anxiety. We're scared to go up to people because we don't want to get rejected. We have fear, in other words. So why am I sharing this? Kind of funny. So 2014, that was the year after my 9-year relationship ended. Later on in that year, around October, November, so I start work as a life insurance agent. So everyone who could relate, not just if you're a life insurance agent, if you're in sales, so you could be a real estate agent, you could be one of those guys or girls in the mall handing out flyers, any type of sales work, MLM, multi-level marketing, network marketing, like that. So we go through a lot of rejection. So 2014 until now, so which is like around 9 years already, I learned to actually make rejection normal, like a part of my life. So it still hurts. I'm not saying rejection doesn't hurt or there's no fear. I still feel it. So one thing that helped me was when you get desensitized to this, it's a really big perspective shift and it helps a lot. So it's kind of like if you're a skinny guy growing up or like a weak girl or any person growing up and you never went to the gym or did physical activity and then the first time you did it, it hurt so much. So rejection is more of an emotional type of pain and exercise. So it's something that actually builds you up and makes you stronger, and it just allows you to face life in a more capable way. So that's another second mind-blowing lesson that hit me over the years. That's additional through experience. So moving forward, I'll just add this also. Rejection, again, people watching the live or the replay, just comment deep dive down below. So if you want to go deeper and you have other questions. So this one, I'm gonna call this, so this is a bonus. So this one, I'm gonna add this one. This one is a really, really good one. And I learned this one from bonus. So this is just in 2020 from Tony Robbins. So this one is called My Relationship Vision. Now, before we get into that, some people will even might ask, like, why the hell should I even have a relationship vision? Why should I even want a relationship at all? And I could relate. Like after 2014, the last thing I wanted was to be in a relationship. So very quickly, I also learned this from Tony Robbins, the same guy. If you take his seminars, like Unleash the Power Within, entry level. So I'm gonna read some comments here. Isn't there levels of rejections? I mean, I'm okay getting rejected from meeting new people at a bar or something. It's different when you get rejected by a fiance. Na. This is super true. So the short answer is yes. So there are levels. If the person is a stranger or an acquaintance, I'm just applying the lesson I got from reading this. So meaning there's like a low level of investment or attraction. It's very it's more painless. It's very easy to brush it off. So I'll share a real life example. 2014. So I met a girl on Tinder. So this is for you, Frame. See, I make an effort too. And then so this happened later on, so around like October. And then after a month or so, let's say November, like 1 or 2 months, like that, it hurt. It hurt. It stung. But like I'm okay. Like after a few months, I'm okay, right? Because it's different when you get rejected by a fiance. So in my personal experience, it was like a 9 year relationship. So I could relate to what Frame is saying because, yeah, in a sense, I even treated her like she was my wife. Well, it was my conditioning, like how seriously I treated that relationship, like to be there in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad, never abandon. So it's very different. And again, it's been a decade, and I've been healing ever since. So, yup, yeah, I did Tinder once. Well, I met a match like that. So going back, Tony Robbins. So yeah, there are levels of rejection. So Tony Robbins, why is he sharing a relationship vision? Before I get to that, why even have a relationship? Short answer is for people wondering, is this like a mystery? Let's demystify this shit. A relationship is actually a human need. So I don't mean just romantic relationships. So Tony Robbins, he talks about this super quickly. There's 6 human needs. So one is the need for certainty, which is security, right? Like you know that you're stable, you're not gonna die. It could be financial, it could be your health, like that. The need for uncertainty, which is also known as variety, because we get bored, right? So we need variety in our life. Third is significance. Fourth is the need for connection or love. So this is where relationship comes in. And then the need for growth and contribution. Now, if you don't like Tony Robbins only, well, there's another source for that. So it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So after you fulfill the basic needs and then security, like financial, like that, in the middle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, relationships are there too. So it's actually a human need. That's the short answer for it. So the bonus lesson I learned, this was December 2020, is have a relationship vision. So many people, many guys and girls, they don't have this. So I didn't have one back in before I learned this. So, what do you mean by relationship vision? So, would you like me to share my personal relationship vision? Comment down below for you guys watching the live, right? And and the replay. So, I'd happily share that with you. So, yeah, Armand, he just commented. So, relationship vision. Why not, right? So, AJ, go. So, you ask and you will receive. So, if you'd like to know, this is my relationship vision. By the way, the purpose of me sharing this is so you can make your own. So here's my example of my relationship vision. I wrote this down December 2020. So my relationship vision, living dream, partner in crime, nymphosexual. Pardon, it hung. Now I'm back. So it cut right at the X-rated part, right? No, I'm back. I'm back, guys. Okay, so my relationship vision. So here it goes. So being in a relationship, it would be like a living dream, partner in crime, nymphosexual, super PDA. That means it's like public display of affection, free expression, 100% honesty, truth, loyalty to a higher order, serve a bigger purpose, we make the world a better place, to love even when it's hard and does not give up. freedom, choice, maturity, knows that she is going to die, acceptance of death. So I wrote that down, literally. I wrote that down here. Understands personal space. So this something again I learned through the years. Whenever we fight, it's playful, understanding, no room for ego, strong person strong personality, malambing, takes care of health, healthy food, exercise, naughty, open, can correct each other, curious, learning, growing, live by example, makes other people better. And then the last I put here is we work with, not against each other. So, what's the point of writing down your own relationship vision? Like, why did I share that? Why are you sharing that, Martin? Yeah, and I'll clear something up because Frame just asked this question. Did you say loyalty to a higher order? So yes, I said that. I grew up again with religion shoved down my throat. So there was a point where I'm not really that religious. What I mean by this is whoever you believe in, whether it's God, the Holy Spirit, truth, wisdom like that, I say loyalty to a higher order because this is a different source that I learned. The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. Your woman or your man should never be your purpose because we're human, we're imperfect, right? We're fallible. I could be wrong even if I believe I'm so right, and I have experienced that. So same for the other person. When you have a loyalty to a higher order, then that is like the balancer. Like you can't go wrong because there's like a higher truth, right? A higher good. So I wrote that down there. So why is that important? I like it, relationship vision. It's like John and Missy. Yes. I also saw a life book from John and Missy Butcher. I think it was shared either in Mind Valley or I've seen that. So Tony Robbins is not the only one who does this. Relationship vision and goals. Why is this important? Again, from like neediness, rejection, and now the relationship vision. If you don't have a vision, you won't have direction. And the reason why I made a dream board, and Steve Harvey in just the more recent years said this. So he quoted the Bible actually. He said, "A man without a vision will perish." And I believe it's the same for a woman. If you don't have a vision, then the chances of it happening it's like zero. You don't even have a chance. So yeah, so I follow. These are other mentors and sources I also learn from and look up to. So having that relationship vision is the higher the chances will happen. Whatever term you want to use, like the law of attraction, manifestation, it's as simple as Earl Nightingale will say, or he quotes another one, James Allen, as a man thinketh, right, then he becomes. The relationship vision is putting that in your mind. It's like planting it in the garden of your mind. So if there is no vision for a relationship, and I only added that in more recent years, like December 2020 moving forward, then Armand, super good that you're sharing that. Practical, like all this knowledge is not gonna be useful unless you test it, right? So it will help guide you. By the way, what if you say, Martin, there are other things I discovered and I want to add? You could edit it. Just like my dream board. I started that in 2016, and then I started adding because you have more visions or dreams that suddenly form throughout the years. So it's not static, it's like a dynamic evolution. So relationship vision, that's another thing that's super helpful. So I'll just wind this back. I want to wrap down wind down this live just to keep it shorter is these are the best lessons that I learned. And I wish Martin from a decade ago knew this. So the first one again, going back here, is when we talk about how to understand women, the biggest lesson I got was this. neediness. So that was the number one killer, right? And I'm not saying you have to be so perfect, don't be hard on yourself. I'm still healing from this. This is really deep wired, hardwired, like from the day I was growing up. To this day, my mom still like displays codependent, needy, clingy behavior. And as a man, or as any person growing up, well, what if you're not there anymore? I'm gonna die without you. And people who think this is a joke, well, I didn't invent this. Look up William Shakespeare, right? Read Romeo and Juliet. How See how that ended, right? That story. So this has been through like time and history of man. So I had to unlearn certain behavior that wasn't helpful, wasn't serving me. In fact, it was killing me internally. And those who get it, hashtag relate, type down below. So the ability to walk away, and I the ability to handle my own emotions. So can I actually, have coffee by myself? Can I do things on my own and still feel 10 out of 10, right? With or without. And then next, rejection. So this will happen throughout our life, especially for guys and girls. Why is this so important? Why I want to share this again? Look, I shared this earlier. Frame, thank you for the comment. I tried Tinder at least once, right? So if you never approach or you never give it a chance again, then you're gonna live alone for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not forcing anyone, right? If you want to do that because it hurts too much, all right. Like, I get it. Now, I took a chance, right? I started opening up, and I believe it's worth it. Like, take it to the pain threshold you could take. If you can't, comment deep dive down below. So I'm willing to reach out to you, guide you, and help you through this because I went through it. And believe, like, if you have ever felt like giving up on life, taking your own life, fucking up your own life, I get it. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing Real Talk Lifeline. So the ability to take rejection, and I accidentally learned this by becoming a life insurance agent. That was super helpful as a life skill. And then the last, like this third point here, is to have a relationship vision. And again, for people who are perfectionists and hard on themselves, start with something super simple, right? Because if we don't have a target, look, I put a girl with abs on my dream board, right? Then maybe you could level up to a queen or something like that, right? Now, it can be anything, anyone, as long as it's in your heart, your vision, start somewhere, then you can actually edit and update it like a version 2, a version 3. It's okay. So, before I end the live, I'm just going to read a few more comments here before I wrap up. So, thank you, Frame. Yeah, I'm not the only one here. Q&A. Frame, type your questions already here before I end the live. So uh your Q&A is gonna be up. It's gonna be part of the FAQ, right? The frequently asked questions. So I'm already wrapping up the live. I gave the one, two, three best lessons I wish Martin knew from a decade ago. And then yeah, sure, ask your questions. Armand, yep, you could relate. So if you were as someone who's been doing life insurance sales work, whatever your background is, real estate, MLM, multi-level marketing sales, yeah, you get bloodbaths. You you are like introduced into a world of rejections. Yeah, so yeah, well, both of you, Arman and Frame, you made this live already so much more fun and interesting. So I'm about to end the live because I just want to keep this short too for people who like watch the replay. But again, why did I make this? Back then, if someone said, Martin, there's no such thing as a manual how to understand women, that doesn't exist. Good luck trying to understand women. You're better off understanding rocket science or something. That was a complete bullshit answer I did not accept. And Maybe it took me a decade this long to get some good answers, but that's just what I want to share back with you guys, right? And myself. So Armand, I really love solitude. Sometimes I end up that I don't want anyone's help. I'd rather get things done by myself. So there is a balance to that. So again, I'm tempted to fall into that trap also, because like why need anyone else, right? Because I can't rely on other people. They're not reliable. Like it's the only one who can take care of me is me, like that. So there is a balance. Again, just to keep it simple, the six human needs of Tony Robbins, connection or love is actually a human need. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well. So it doesn't have to be a romantic, like your partner for life, whatever, but it is a human need. So very, very tempting, but there's a balance. So that's how I would answer Armand's comment over there. So before I end the live, if there are any other questions coming in, I wish, yeah, if there were more questions coming in the live, Frame, feel free to shoot one last one. I'd happily answer it. Before I end the live, people who still have a question, whether it's about relationships, understanding women, or maybe you're a girl, right? Understanding men, whoever, like whatever your background is, nothing but love. Comment deep dive down below, and then I'll reach out to you because maybe you have questions one on one that aren't answered here. Or if you're like a small group, we could have a session wherein you guys can just fire away and get more into detail if you want to understand like the process, um or other things like, is there hope? Well, hey guys, I'm still alive, I'm still here. So so yeah, so no problem again. I'm about to end the live here. I want to pick my brain on breakups. Man, Mark in the house, you're welcome, man. See, this is another guy I'm learning from. So what I want to share is I'm not the only one who walks this path. There are a lot of guys out there who could share their life experience, and for me, they have been like lifesavers or lifelines for me. And Real Talk Lifeline is just me giving back to you guys. So relationships or how to understand women, for the women out there or whatever your sexuality or preference is out there, you're welcome. If you want to understand men also, then comment deep dive down below. I'm here to share both sides, right? No biases. Like Frame, yeah, in a bar. So what I'm trying to do, Frame, here in Real Talk Lifeline is even without the alcohol or even not in the bar, I just wanted to create a space where people can talk about it. So that's why I made Real Talk Lifeline. So comment deep dive down below if you still have questions that weren't answered. And then yeah, I'll reach out to you guys. So also, Real Talk Lifeline, this is gonna be up on the YouTube channel. You are welcome, brother. So if you haven't yet, you could subscribe to the Real Talk Lifeline channel. It would help a lot. I'd super appreciate it. So that's it for tonight's live. Thank you. I love all of you. Frame, AJ, Mark, Armand, all of you guys watching the replay. Thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.